Hi, everybody. Welcome to, I don't know which day it is. I'm right now in Colombia and I get mixed up all the times and everything. But I feel like if you are here, it's because you're wondering if you want to be part of Cherry on Tech program. And maybe you are new in tech as a product designer, as a product manager, as a developer, and you're struggling to have a hands-on experience working in a cross-functional team. And then you heard somewhere about Cherry on Tech and you're thinking, oh, is this good for me or not? You're in the right place. This is a perfect place. Today we're going to answer a lot of questions. We have one of these Q&A last week, and we just want to make sure that we are answering everything that you may wonder about to have you here. That's what we want. So let's bring in, I forgot to tell you my name. I'm Juliet. I'm one of the co-founders, and this is Ali. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Both of us are tired, so sorry for whatever is happening today. We're doing our best. But Ali, can you tell us a little bit of you?
Yeah, sure. My name is Ali Quintano. I'm a DevOps engineer at VoiceThread, which is an education technology company. And I've been working in tech for almost 10 years and have been a part of Cherry on Tech for about 3 years now. So I'm one of the organizers, and I also work with my own tech squad. And I'm just excited about getting more people together with their own tech squads. And I'm sure we'll be talking about that for the next like 30 minutes. So if you don't know what that is or you're not sure about
Yes.
it,
Oh,
no
Ali,
worries.
did I lose you or is just me?
Maybe just you. All right. Well, I can start us off if it's just Juliet's connection. I'm not sure. Could be me. For me. All right. Well, in case it is just Juliet, let me just start by introducing Cherry on Tech.
Let's. I don't know. I don't know if it's me. Can you hear me properly? Hmm.
I can hear you now, but your video is maybe freezing
Can you
up a
hear
bit.
me or it's just me?
I think it may be just you.
Okay. Okay. Well, my name is Juliet. I'm a senior product designer. Maybe. Oh no, I think we're having issues with the internet today. Going to close this. Maybe that will work. Hmm. Can you hear me?
You're coming through clear now. Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Okay, I
Okay.
closed some stuff. Maybe that's what it is. Yes, I can hear you. So I don't know. Did you say maybe introduce myself too? So I'm
Yes.
Juliet
Go ahead.
Fajardo. I'm a senior product designer at Green Shield Health. And yeah, and I've been part of Cherry Tech since right to the beginning. And we're part of the same Tech Squad with Ali. So we are the OG. And maybe a little bit about Cherry on Tech. We are a volunteer organization that empower underrepresented gender, women, trans, and non-binary folks to get into tech. We know that finding real experience in a cross-functional team without a job is hard. But finding a job without experience is even harder. So for us, it was really important to bring this space, something that we've been building for the last 3 years, that is our tech squad, to more people. We have our first cohort last January. We have around 24 people, 4 tech squads, and they were amazing. At the end, we learned a lot, and we're excited to kick a cohort too. So that's what we're doing here. Um, what else? Okay. Uh, 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 what is okay? One of the questions that I think a lot of people get is, what is a tech squad? Like, what is this? Ali.
Sure, I can talk about it all day, but I will try to keep it brief. I definitely think of a tech squad as this cross functional group of people who come together to work on projects to help support each other in our careers. So I think we focus on doing projects that we can all contribute to because that's like the most valuable way for us to support each other as like in different roles. So as a designer, a developer can like actually bring my designs to life. Or as a developer, I can have a designer design something for me that doesn't look like what it would look like if I made it. And as a product manager, it's like this chance to actually have a team of people, which when you're in like a product management position, a lot of that is about working with a team. So you really get a chance to do that. So that's the heart of the Tech Squad, but really the goal is to support each other in our careers and just help each other level up in whatever way that means for us.
And I think for our tech squad has changed over the time because again, our experience and our professional goals keep growing and changing. So that's what like the goal and the really like the heart of Cherry Tech it is like keep working with a tech squad. But how does it work like a tech squad in the cohort? Like what is one of the biggest difference?
Yeah, so we designed the cohort to be like a group of squads to kind of all be going through some of the like key pieces of building a project all together at the same time so that there's a bit more of community support. And for the cohort, we designed like a 13-week project to get you from like the idea space all the way to a live launched like MVP type of project. And just sort of set these weekly goals along the way and break it down into tasks like per role to really help guide you with like this is how you can do this together as a squad, because a lot of people new to tech are coming in from their specialty or discipline that they've been studying or either like in school or a boot camp or self-study, whatever it is, or relevant experience, and they're changing into a new role. It's like we're all coming from these different places, but maybe we haven't had that chance yet to see how we work together as a team and like what skills we bring and what skills our teammates bring so we can actually build working software. And I feel like that's the key piece that we're trying to get to in the cohort is like, this is how you build working software together as a team.
I think I wanted you to tell us a little bit about the roles. I'm a little slow. It's like
Okay.
one of the things that I wanted to ask.
I can talk about it.
But yes, like what are the roles? Like what kind of roles you can see in a tech squad?
Yeah, so in general, I'd say it's, there's no limits. But for the cohort, we focused on some of the 3 most common roles that you find on software teams. So designers, developers, and product managers. And within that, you'll find lots of different degrees of specialties in the industry, but for the squads, we think it's a good chance to get exposure to just those really key foundational skills that you'll likely need in those roles. Yeah, I would say for developers in the cohort, we're really focusing on really for everybody, but we're really focusing on how do you actually work with a team of not just developers, but also designers and product managers. So it's not about like, how do I make the coolest technology, product or something. It can be, but I think for the cohort specifically, we're really emphasizing just having that experience be about learning how to work together.
Yeah, and I think that's super valuable, important, and I think something that I talk a lot is like when you landed your job, it's like yeah, you would love to work in like fixing the whole work and doing the most amazing and imagine like explosion of technology, but you're limited in like how much of what you can do and how much time do you have, and sometimes you have the restrictions of what already exists. So I think this is a great way for the whole tech squad knowing each other, how you work, how you communicate. And when you finish the tech squad, you move into the second part. Is like, okay, what would you like to do? Then you can go back to the moon if that's what you like. But I have a surprise, Ali. I have someone waiting on the waiting side. I think it would be great for Jashi to tell us a little more about the interaction with the participants and mentors. So, Jashi, why don't you tell us a little bit who you are, first of all?
All right. Hey, everyone. I am Yashi, and I have been one of the software developer mentor in the previous cohort with Trayon Tech. One of the tech squads I worked with developed a full stack application, which was a great hype. But yeah, that's about me.
Yes. Okay. So I want to know a little more about that relationship between mentors and mentees. Like, how was the relationship?
Yeah, 100%. So most of the developers on my tech squad were from a boot camp or self-learning, or who were like changing their careers or newcomers to the industry. They really wanted to see how you need to work in a team, and how can they really utilize my knowledge base and my where do I come in terms of like helping them if they were to work with a senior developer, let's say. That's some kind of relationship. That's sort of a relationship that usually developers have with the mentors on the tech squad. You know, you have a question, you're building a feature, you really want to understand some of the actual technical skills that you need, or how about, so how do I need to really figure this out? What stuff do I need? Do I need to look at some documentation, guide them through that? Or just get on a call, figure things out with them, troubleshoot, debug their code, whatever that entails, basically. That sort of a mentor-mentee relationship exists within the tech squads. It could be just through the chat. It could be hopping on a call. It could be just helping them developing their feature list, or also just working on that specific feature. I did from the ideation process to actually developing it. So that's some key elements in there about the relationship.
Ali, do you have a question? I see you. No, do you have a question or no? Okay, I do. Okay, I work kind of closely with Jashi because we were kind of mentoring the same tech squad. And I think for me, what it was really empowering is like, I'm a designer. I don't know what is possible or not. Yes, me as a designer, I want the whole moon and the sun and the whole universe if we can design that. So I think for Josh, it was really important always to bring us back to what is possible or not. So kind of what was that relationship into, I know that you were kind of in the beginning of the ideation and when we are prototyping, how was that interaction with the tech squad?
So I realized that most of the developers on the team, or even like the product managers and the designers on the team, are ambitious in terms of what they want to build. However, the lack of understanding of how much can they really produce in the 13 weeks of the time, plus how many people are there going to be, what's their capacity, all that sort of admin stuff is really important to keep in mind. I feel like there's that back and forth with the developer team, especially when you go about asking them, what do they really need to get out of this cohort? Like, what is them looking for after the 13-week of a period outside, like what they have developed. So it really matters to what they are looking for, and catering to that, how we are making our 13-week productive enough that we are able to hit those points or hit those wants from this cohort, and not just doing some haywire thing and be like, okay, I developed something. No, really, it's going to be super targeted to your goals in terms of, I want to work in the back end, I want to work in the front end, I want to develop a static website, or is it going to be, I just want to test my CSS skills and I want to explore these many libraries that are available, such as one of the tech squads that I worked with used MUI. They had really no idea how to do it, but guiding through the documentation, understanding how to even read the documentation is like a key aspect into understanding what can really be developed within this 13-week of a period. So I think during the first few weeks, it was more like, I know you want to build a great project. This is going to be the best thing that you want to build. But what can you really build in 13 weeks? And also, what do you really want to contribute in? Maybe that's your weakness and you want to make that as your strength, or you want to work with your strengths and just build on top of that. So there's that balance that really we discussed during the first few weeks, I think.
I love that because I feel like when you get a job, do you have that opportunity? It's like, hey, I want to work in this. Can we just work in this? No, when you go to work, it's like, this is what you have to go do it. Go and do it. So I feel like this experience, and I think for me, that's something that I repeat a lot, is like, this is a space where you can fail and you can learn and you can ask. And it's okay. Like, you're not going to get fired for anything. Yeah. Like, the whole tech squad is here to support you. And for us one of the most relevant. I know that all the mentors are really important, but I think for the technical aspect, to have a strong developers is as mentors is one of the biggest things for us. I want to talk a little bit to what do you think, Jashi, that is, if I'm a developer and I want to be part of the next cohort, what are the minimal requirements of knowledge that I should have to be part of the cohort?
Okay, so from the previous cohort's experience and how and what kind of backgrounds people came from, my understanding is that you at least need to understand the basic technology that you're going to be working with. The most, I would say, the known or like the demanding knowledge of JavaScript within the front end is really good to have. Having some sort of understanding of how GitHub works, how you can interact and version control and work with a team using Git to version control your features and the branches that you'd be working with and managing that. So that's, I think, literally the very basic of what you really need to know as a developer to come on board with other people as a developer. You don't really need to be a superhero developer at this point. This is why you're here working with the other team members, working with the mentors, and other people in the tech squads, looking at other people, what they are working with. So just the minimum basic knowledge of how JavaScript works. If you know frameworks such as React, or working with TypeScript on React, or any such frameworks such as Angular, that's a bonus. But if you know about how to version control and work with GitHub and Git, that's something that I would say is minimum to work within a team at Cherry on Tech at least.
Nice. I feel like, a big question, and I think something that you mentioned at the beginning, that we have like some back end work in the project that we were doing, and something that is changing for cohort 2 is we're going to have just a static website. What does this mean? Like, how can I build, like, what is the big difference between the two?
So with the previous cohort and with the previous tech squad that I worked with, they were developing both the backend server, that is basically the API that they were calling, and then the front end that they were using the API with. So they developed both the front end and the backend parts of a website themselves, which was pretty ambitious, I would say, in terms of being able to accomplish that within 13 weeks of a period. Now, what a static website means is you don't have to build that backend. You'd be working with an open source API, or not even working with an open source API, but just developing that front end part where you're working with just how the browser window would look like if somebody were to come to your website. So let's say we were going on to facebook.com, I can see some posts, I can see some notifications on my feed. All of that is being fetched from a backend. However, when you come to a static website, it all be dummy data, or you feed in that data using some API that you haven't created but is available to use for education purposes. So that's something we'll be moving forward with for cohort 2, and that's what static website is.
Thank you. And I think just to finish up with you is like, because you got the chance to work with some developers in the tech squad, what do you think that it was the best improvement or the biggest learning that the mentees have during the cohort?
So I've realized that a lot of people don't know how to work, or a lot of new developers don't know how to work within a team in terms of, I need to be able to merge my stuff to the master branch, but also pull from that and also work with somebody else who's working on something very similar to what I'm working on, and it's dependent on that. All of that really requires you to pay attention to how you're merging stuff, how you're version controlling your application. When you're working on your own, within your own GitHub repo, you're free to do that. You can do whatever, push whenever, pull whenever. It doesn't really have any such conflicts happening within the team. But when you're working as a team, you know I'm working on feature number 1, somebody's working on feature 2, somebody's working on the entire authentication, and so on and so forth. Really requires you to pay attention to who's working on what and how to merge stuff, so that you don't really have a lot of conflicts happening within the team in terms of doing that. So I felt like a lot of developers on the team were struggling at the beginning, but they really got a good handle on that towards the end, and really understood why this is really helpful and useful to have as a skill when you go out into the industry and work in a real job at a company. Another thing that I would say is the push to use new technology, and the idea that it's okay that I would have to do this at an actual job as well, to do documentation work with something that you're not familiar with, but I need to familiarize myself and be okay and open to that. I think that push has always helped the tech squads to like be open to what they're developing, and also learn a lot more things and add it to their basket to understand, okay, I know this stuff. I can learn a lot more with people around me and the support that I have. So I've seen a big change in the mindset of developers in the team, where they're like, oh, I don't know how to work with this, but at the end of their at the end of their 13-week period, they're like, okay, I know why I needed this, because I wasn't open to a lot of technologies or any ideas, but now working with the team, I understand that I need to have an opinion, put it out there, but also learn from others in the team. So those are the 2 main things that I saw was like a big learning experience for people on the team.
Well, this is so good. And if you're excited hearing everything that Jashi is talking about, don't worry. She's going to be helping us in cohort 2. So I'm super excited for that. Jashi, thank you so much for sharing all this amazing information, and we will see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Take care. Bye.
Wow, what do you think, Ali? That was so good.
Yeah, really good info. Amazing. She's the best.
I was waiting for questions from you, but anyway, okay.
You answered a lot of the things I was thinking, so already. That was good.
Okay, and for everybody who is listening to us in LinkedIn or in YouTube, make sure that you tab your questions. I know that we've been going to a lot of things that you may be already want the answers, but come on, type it for us. We will listen and we will read it, and Ali will answer. That's how we've been working lately. Okay, so one of the things that are going to happen, we have 2 must-have meetings during the cohort. Which ones are these meetings?
Yeah, so what we do during the cohort is we have a weekly global meeting for all the squads, and this is a part of the program I really like. We focus on bringing guest speakers in. So these are like professionals out there with lots of experience who are volunteering their time to come in and just like talk to the squads and just drop some amazing knowledge bombs. We had some really amazing speakers last time, and you can see them on our YouTube channel as well. But we do the global meetings once a week for everyone to get together. And then in addition to that, each squad, we encourage to have a weekly meeting of their own. So the weekly meetings, kind of going back to the what is a tech squad question, is like, to me, a really foundational part of a tech squad, because we found with our own squad over the past 3 years that this consistent like 1 hour or 30 minutes, whatever it is, like a week on the calendar, always, it's like really helped us have this consistency and just keeps this like, I don't know, even accountability for myself of like, I'm showing up to put this time aside to focus on myself and the things that I want to achieve in my career. So we really want the squads to take advantage of that time, not just to talk about their project, but it's about building the relationships, because the tech squad's there to support you, but you have to know each other to do that. So it's not just knowing what's happening with the project. It's also just like, how's your job search going? Or, you know, what kind of job are you looking for? What are you interested in? And like, what's going on in your life? So those kinds of things have just been like invaluable, and maybe can get overlooked sometimes if you're just thinking about working on this project, joining this cohort to get some experience. But what you're really getting is like, you know, you're attending these weekly meetings, you're participating in this project, but you're really like building these connections and building your network and having a community for you to like kind of find your place in tech. Oh, you're on mute, Juliet.
Okay, I love that. I was going to ask something else. Oh, I'm on mute. No, I'm not on mute.
You're good
Can
now.
you not hear me? I have a question. I have a
I
question
hear you now.
from Saint Rose. Yes. Sorry, I'm on mute, but I think my internet here is not good. Anyway,
Yeah,
I would love to hear more about the product manager role with Charion Tech. This is a good one for you.
Sure. Yeah, I can talk about it. So for my spot, I'm actually the product manager, even though professionally I work in more of a developer type of role, but I have just had a background in sort of different roles within software teams. So I really like the role that is on the squad specifically for product manager, because it's really like you get to have this opportunity to say like, how do I facilitate this team of people to really get from like point A of just a problem space and idea, like we don't have anything, to like all the way through to this like live software, like live website MVP. So the product manager is really going to be doing a lot of that facilitation. And because you're doing a project from kind of just from zero, it's totally like this open greenfield project where you can say like, what kind of product am I interested in building, and how, you get to go through all those motions of like a really early beginning of a project that you don't normally maybe get to do if you just start working somewhere and they already have a product. So I think that part's really fun. And I think it has a lot of like relevant experience in the things you'll be doing with working with designers for doing research and understanding like the user flows and personas and all of that good stuff. But then when the actual development begins, the product manager role really gets to take on some of like the product owner and delivery manager type of roles, or like business analyst. There's kind of like so many different, skill sets or titles out there with the overlapping responsibilities. But for a product manager to get experience actually learning like, what is agile software development and what is my role in that, like with user stories, and what are pull requests, and how do I like actually test the product from like the product management perspective. You're really learning like all these parts of the process. So that way, if you go to your first job, you're not just like, here's the one thing I've like know how to do and I'm doing. You're like, understand what everyone else is doing and how to work with a team. So I think that's most valuable part of like a product manager participating in this kind of program. And yeah, there's just so much room for learning prioritization skills, which is huge for product managers, and just talking to developers, like that's a big one. So yeah, just learning how to communicate all throughout the way, and how to communicate like product requirements, and how to also find what you want the software to do. As a product manager is going to be like, potentially in your professional job, you get to be in a position to say like, how should this work? Because a developer is going to develop it however you say you want them to, or at least as close as they can. But someone's got to decide like, what should this actually be doing? So this is a chance to like flex that skill and just like get to make those decisions. And there's no wrong decision, because it's like a learning experience, Yeah. I hope that answers the question.
I hope so. I was going to say that for a lot of the squads that work in cohort 1, they work in a project, and now outside of the cohort, now more like in a tech squad, like kind of a space, they're thinking about going back to the product, how they work it. So the product manager will go back and see the market and see if they want to keep working in this and how to prioritize. Like, I feel like it's such an interesting space for new product managers coming in to wanted to get into tech. Okay, the schedule. I didn't want to go over time today, but what is happening? What is the schedule? When people can register? When do we start?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about that quickly. Yeah, so we are open registration right now until this Saturday. So you have this week to get applications in, and please, even if you're unsure, just go for it. We're a community for everybody. Well, I should say for underrepresented genders in technology, and no matter really where you feel like, if you feel like the role, maybe you're slightly interested in like a specific part of it, or maybe you have unsure about your existing skill set, that's okay. Like, we love to just at least talk to you and connect and figure out, we want Tech Squads to be for everybody in this community. So register now so we can at least stay in touch with you. And then after that, we will be doing the squad matching. So that's a fun part of our job, where we get all these people interested in being on a squad, but we kind of have to play matchmaker and really just get people, mostly based on time zones and just availability, so that people can, be able to meet weekly, and just having the right amount of roles on the squad, getting all that balanced out. So that takes us about a week. And then after that, we'll be sending out, notifying everybody, and then starting an onboarding period for a couple weeks to get everybody into Slack and, accounts created and things like that. And then, the project starts September 9th. It's the first day of the next cohort. And then that runs for 13 weeks until December 9th. So it's all happening really fast.
It happens really fast. You
Yeah.
think, oh, this is a lot of weeks, but no, in reality, it goes super
Just a
quick.
few. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. What are kind of the requirements for the project? We talk a lot a bit already with Joshi about the static React website. What else is included in this?
Yeah. Okay. This is a good one that I do feel like is important for people who are interested to know, because we're not exactly acting as product owners. You will be kind of like your own product owners for this project. But we do really emphasize some key cross-functional requirements for the squads to focus on. So things like accessibility and responsiveness, those are going to be like two big things that we're talking about throughout the entire program, and really encouraging and helping everybody get to a place where they're not just like building, or I should say where the website they're building is accessible and they've tested it and they've built it to be accessible along the way. They didn't just think of it like as an afterthought later. And then also responsiveness, which has just become which has just been like a really core part of really any web apps nowadays. So just making sure it looks good and responds to different size displays. So those are two big things that, just know if you're participating in this, that's something you will be learning about, and they're really good skills. And you'll learn about how you incorporate those at every step of the process. And that's going to it's going to put you ahead of a lot of people who already even, have jobs, because they maybe, didn't really have as much thought about those things when they started, however long ago. So that's a really great opportunity. And we've brought in some really good guest speakers and have some knowledgeable mentors about those things.
This is super excited. And I wanted maybe to kind of close up talking a little bit about mentorship. And I know we have Joshi, and we have two type of mentors. So we have the fairy mentors. They are mentors embedded on each Tech Squad and for each role. So for each Tech Squad, we will have we will have product managers, we will have designers and developers. So there will be one mentors for each of the roles. And the fairy mentors are going to be helping you all the way from the beginning and to the end. And something that we added for this next cohort, we are going to have 3 check-ins with the mentors, and it's going to be more about how you doing, how you feeling, and kind of what Joshi was mentioning too, that is like, what is your goals? Are we getting there? How we can get you there? And kind of at the end to finish up and see just the whole relationship growing. So that's one, fairy mentors. Then we have the Slack mentors. The Slack mentors are there to answer any questions that you may have on Slack. So anyone can ask you any questions. Then you have us that we will be your cherry mentors. We usually divide the tech squads, and we each of you take 2, 3, how many we have, and we will be there with you the whole time. We we help you in anything that is needed, pretty much. So yeah, like that's the 3 types of mentors. So if any of you know any mentors, we are looking for developers, product managers, and designers that they would love to be working as a fairy mentors from 1 week to week 13, and or you have something really good to talk about and you will love to be a guest speaker, we would love to meet you too.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we didn't answer any questions on this Q&A, I will definitely share the other link from last week. There is a lot of information in that one. Plus, I share our Notion with all the program information. But I don't know if you have anything else to add.
I think that's a lot of it. Yeah, there. Just please reach out and apply if you're interested at all, or just reach out to one of us with any other questions you have. Thanks for everyone for watching.
Yes, thank you so much. We're so excited. So please register. We're closing registration on the weekend, and the squads are filling up, and they look so powerful and so amazing. We're excited for all the people that we're going to get to meet and work with. So thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.